We don't condone the use of any illegal substance or any illegal activity. This video is intended for instructional and educational purpose only. Watch at your own risk. Viewer discretion is advised.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
In the garden where the green leaf sway, see bunnies rolling up, we light it our way. Mr. Guinness got the bombs, we puffin' all night. Talking cultivation, yeah, we're feeling alright. Light it up, feel the vibe, let it be known. Garden cultivation, network, we on the scene. Rolling that green, living out the dream. Shouting about the strains, how to plan it right. Join us every week, yeah, we light up the night. Wednesday to Friday, we keep it alive. Cannabis talks, everybody's feeling high. Sharing secrets of the grow, it's a sacred art. In this cultivation game, you gotta play your part. Keep it real, keep it tight, watch the plants grow. Garden cultivation, network, we on the scene. Rolling that green, living out the dream. Chatting about the strains, how to plan it right. Join us every week, yeah, we light up the night.
Yo, happy Wednesday.
I always do that. I always have it set on the one
I know, you
setting when
always
we
mess
come in.
up.
I always forget to change it back. Damn it. I'm learning. So how
You
are you?
are. Good. We're halfway through the week, so we're almost to Friday, which is always a good thing.
Yes, Fridays are a great
How about
night.
yourself?
I'm doing all right. Had a bit of a headache today. I mean, it is what it is, but we're powering through. So
So last week we had a very good interview. I believe it was Ames last week, correct?
yes, Ames High Cannabis.
Yes.
He was a pretty
If you
cool
missed
dude.
the
He was a
episode,
great conversation actually.
he was. I was surprised. Not surprised, but I mean, there was a lot that I didn't expect to hear. And
Mhm.
he's got a really cool story. So if you would like to check that out, you could go over on to Spotify under Garden Cultivation Network. You could also find us over on Instagram under Garden Cultivation Network, See Bunny Grows Too, and Mr. _Organics.
Yes. And we have a very exciting evening tonight.
We
If you
do.
can't tell by the jerseys and Bunny's background, which I mean she always has that background, but
That's not new.
yeah, that's not new. But we have Justin Cooper from Growing Exposed and Green Planet, which is going to be an awesome conversation. We've had the pleasure of meeting him in person, which was also super cool. Great guy, great team, great group of people, and it's going to be a really good show. So
It is. I'm excited.
Yes. Are you ready?
I am.
I'm ready. Hello,
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
Fantastic.
Thank you
I
for coming on.
Wednesday.
I still think it's funny seeing pictures of myself on just out in general.
Yeah.
So,
No, absolutely. No, it's funny. I have the same thing. I was scrolling through the Bud Trainer website one time and I was on their website. I didn't even know. I was like, hey, wait a minute, that's weird. So I
yeah,
know what you mean.
it's
Definitely.
it's
So
pretty
yeah,
funny.
it is. It
And
is, yeah.
Yes.
Well, you guys have always been super supportive with everything that we've been doing, and we've got to sit down and talk to you and Dom before,
yeah,
and we thought, you know what, we got to put that in the intro video because I definitely think that you guys are a highlight group of people to sit down and chat with. So we
Yes,
made
for
the intro.
sure.
thank you very
So
much.
for those who don't know, can you give yourself a little introduction and who you are, what you do?
Here I am. What I do. I'm the co-founder of Green Planet, wholesale Green Planet nutrients. I've been in the industry since my teens. We started a chain of stores called Pacific Northwest Garden Supply in the early 90s, and got to all enjoy the wave of BC Bud during those times. It was a very crazy time. And here we are today. And, we're passionate about trying to make people better growers and make them more successful. That's really the plight behind the company. And everything we do has the growers at heart, and trying to provide better products, better value, and because it's not easy out there for growers. It's not an
No.
easy market, especially those that make it a career job. So we have a lot of empathy
A lot
for
of
that.
work, yeah.
It's a lot of work. No one understands what it takes to bring high quality cannabis to market, and we do. We've lived it, breathed it. It's such a massive part of our lives.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what
correct
I
me-
like most about the Green Planet team is not only are you guys passionate about, like you said, the product, but you're the growers as well. And it's not just a facade, like you're the same in person as you are on screen, which is rare to find in
Absolutely.
people in general.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
in this day and age, are you kidding me?
Yeah, you have to be.
I'm
Well, and
really lucky. I have an
you
incredible team that we built up over the years too. So that's
Yeah.
that's a huge part of it. We've you mentioned Dom, but there's a very substantial crew of people that really care about the industry, that work with us, and we're fortunate to have and work with those. And it's like me, don't like me. It doesn't really matter.
yeah.
I'm not
You
in it. I'm not in it for the likes, per se.
Exactly.
you guys
Yeah.
are just you guys are one big family though. And that's what when Bunny and I actually got to meet you guys in Toronto last year, that's exactly what it was like.
Yeah.
When we came up and it was like you guys welcomed us with open arms, and it was just like one big happy family. Like it was such a cool experience. And um everybody was great. Like people that I had never met before. Like I had spoke to Dom before that, and
Yeah.
I think that was like you and Dom, but other than that, I think that was it. And then everybody
Yeah.
else was just as nice as the last person I met. So
I,
Yeah.
I
I mean,
think
you guys really are a supportive team group of people. So
thank you.
we all
I think
appreciate that very much.
what's nice about social media is there's never been a better time to tell a story about a company. You've never had the ability to tell the world. YouTube is global, right? So how do you, as a company, tell a story about your company? And never in the history of marketing or branding has that been an opportunity until today.
Yeah.
And you meet people on social media initially, and you're like, seems like a really nice person. 90% of the time, you meet the person in real life, and you're like, oh my god, that guy was super nice, or that girl was super kind. It's interesting, right? You already have a rapport started, but before you actually meet them face to face, which is
Exactly, which is beautiful.
neat, right? Yeah.
So
So
nice. So you were talking about how you've been a company since you were in, well, not a company, but you've been into this since you were a teen. What was it when you were a teen that kind of got you into this originally? Like were you already growing at that point? I assume you were already smoking by then. What was it that made you take the dive and
so
go full bore with this?
Mr. Gannick's funny story. I bought into the idea that cannabis was bad
Right.
at a young age. My parents were very pro cannabis, and I just was always concerned because, in my era, Reagan, the whole 9 yards, you drugs, your brain on drugs, this garbage, that garbage. So I was
Yeah.
super cautious, and I grew up in a area called Wally, and it was a pretty rough, lower income area. And I still knew it wasn't bad. I just didn't know if it was the right thing for me. So I was profiting from cannabis long before I even tried it, which
Okay.
is a bit of a funny way about coming about it. So this was the way that most of my friends in high school managed to get out of Surrey, right? Or not necessarily out of Surrey, but they managed to buy a house. They managed to get ahead in life. This is one of the beautiful things about this industry. We had a whole bunch of people back then saying, well, they don't pay taxes. People that grow cannabis don't necessarily know how to save money. That money is spent faster. It's not trickle down economics. It's literally trickle up economics. It's poor people get involved in the industry. They try to make a better life for themselves. They spend the money on frivolous, ridiculous things. Back in the day, new Lincolns and TVs and cars and all these
Yeah. All
stereos and
the material,
absolutely.
stuff.
The money got spent so fast. They were buying houses, trucks, you name it. And I got to be a little bit part of that, and I got to I jumped from cultivating with a 260 Sun Agro in my parents' basement at 17 years old, and I found that I just really enjoyed being in a garden. And I did a small, tiny. It's a Phillips bulb. They don't make it anymore. The old school magnetic ballasts, the whole 9 yards. Real old school tech. And I found that it was really difficult to find good information. I read every book that you could find, every brochure, and my girlfriend at the time said, I really want you to only focus on the legal end of things in cannabis. You're getting a little wild, you're getting a little risky, and I said, listen, I think I can make a living. I still love the industry. I still love everything to do with it. It was something that all of our friends were doing, right? Everybody was moving packs and everybody was growing. So it was really close to me. And I didn't try cannabis till I was probably 21 years old, of all things. And
Wow.
It's around when I started too. Was
yeah,
in
so
like my early 20s.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been in the space for quite a while. A bad thing happened to a friend of mine, and I decided let's shift away from that side of the industry. And I knocked on one of my best friends, Steve, who wasn't my best friend then, but he had just started P&W in 1993, Pacific Northwest Garden Supply. It's been a like having that retail chain was a really incredible crystal ball into what's going on in the industry. And it became a place where growers came in and we all just shot the shit having a good time. And it was really an upcycle in the industry, and it was a fun time.
It's basically the old school version of what Instagram is nowadays, this cannabis space, but in real life, you got to go sit down and chat with real people and have real conversations. When having those conversations back then was like everybody had to be
Very
quiet
hush
about it.
hush.
Yeah.
So
the grow shop was the place to hang out, and it was really nice because the way we built the businesses were largely built on great employees or really close personal friends of ours that were like, wow, we need a store in this area, so let's open a store in Kelowna or Nelson or in Mission or wherever. And it was done in such a organic hustling kind of way. It would, I didn't have a silver spoon, and everything that we ever had to create was built on grit, hard work, and passion. So I'm not some fancy success story of starting. Literally we started with a chip and a chair as young kids, and have evolved to be businessmen, have evolved to be cultivators that had been evolved to be passionate and share that passion. That's really kind of where Growing Exposed started. Was we would visit gardens and they were like, "Oh my God, I just tried your products and it's fucking killing it. You have to come look." And then the thought was, what if we got this on camera? What if we talked about this on camera, showing people have great results? And then people were having, that's really everything has been done organically. And not to steal the term from legacy to legal, but that was it. And excitingly enough, we're actually featuring Pistol in Paris on Growing Exposed. It's the next episode of a customer of mine who I'd known for decades. And Dylan King specifically is now got Pistol in Paris, and he's really managed to carve out a really great product in the new legal market. And it's
cool.
It's exciting to be part of all the legal stuff that's going on also, because the legal growers are getting better.
Yes.
Right? They're
Absolutely.
able to turn out some nice product. And interestingly enough, which was a really cool epiphany, the large LPs that came in and didn't ask for any information, they came in very much with a monopolistic attitude. We're going to take over the market. We're going to hire people from silviculture. We're going to hire this person. We don't give a shit about the cannabis industry. All we want to do is grow tons of product, make the max amount of money, and do a public company.
Yeah.
And we saw those guys implode. And I don't mind seeing the ones that have no passion, and the people that are really succeeding right now are the micro cultivation facilities, and some of the large LPs that really, really care, but they're being driven by old school cultivators that have learned a shit ton of stuff over the years. Because like it or not, we know a thing or two. And
Absolutely. Yep.
from curing to cultivation to propagation, there's a lot of stuff that goes into cultivating a really, really good crop. And unlike beer and wine, you can start with beer and wine, and you're going to end up making some shitty beer and wine. But if you have a decent genetic, a good environment, a little bit of know-how, you're going to have a very good chance at growing the best cannabis you've ever tried.
I agree with that 100%. Yep.
Yeah? Because I know one thing. Everybody grows the best cannabis. If you're passionate about it, you grow the best cannabis for you.
Yep. And I've told this story many times where the very, very first, I'll say real grow that I started taking serious. I'd grown a couple times before, but never really knew anything, just put a seed in the dirt, let it grow. But when I first started taking it serious, I was growing outdoors. I got all the way through to harvest, and it wasn't good weed. There was nothing good about it. But when I harvested that, I dried it, I cured it, and I smoked it. It might not have been the best weed that I ever smoked, but that was the best weed I ever smoked.
Right?
It had my hard work, it had my passion, it had every little bit of me in there. And
your DNA was tied to that plant. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So by the time I got to smoke it, I knew what good weed looked like. I knew what good weed tasted like. And it wasn't that, but it was the best weed I had ever smoked.
Right? I love that.
Still to this day, because it was the very first time I had ever really gotten to a harvest. So
yeah,
I know that feeling exactly what you're saying right there. So firsthand.
And one of the other positive spin-offs about legal cannabis is dose. My first experience at 20 years old, I ended up having a cookie, and it must have been 250 milligrams easy. And it wasn't the best experience, right?
Well, no.
It wouldn't be.
Yeah, I was trying to bike a quarter kilometer up a hill, and I think it took me 5 hours. So
yeah, that sounds about right. For sure.
Yeah, it's and I was, I was off my head. So dose is a really important thing. And over the years, right, we've with legalization, with being involved. I like to drop this guy's name because he was a saint of a human being. Jason Wilcox. He was with the Coalition Against Repeal. He was involved in the Allard case. And the Allard
Mm.
case was what set the stage for what legalization and people being able to grow medically in Canada under the ACMPR was. The original MMAR. But Jason gave me an opportunity to put the seed capital down for John Conroy, who's the best cannabis lawyer in Canada. Kirk Tousaw also, and they took the federal government to court and held them to a court and allowed medical growers to continue to growing their medicine in Canada. And it was truly a David and Goliath kind of fight, and we were at the forefront of that, and it was really exciting to have been involved in changing the laws in Canada and doing what was right. And a lot of people claimed to be involved, but it was literally, it did take a village. It was a substantial initiative, and to have been involved in that was really, really quite special.
That's huge. That's history in the
Sure.
making in Canada right there. So to be
Yep.
able to say that you were part of that is absolutely amazing. And
Literally,
I'm sure
Green Planet was used in the court case. It was our wholesale catalog was used. There was discussions about mold, fire, and gangsterism, and they couldn't prove any of them because plants in the right environment, if you're controlling your environment, actually still happen to be good for you to be around.
absolutely. And the last thing we want anywhere near our plants is mold and bacteria. And
Absolutely.
we're trying to keep a lab, like we're trying to keep a super clean environment. So
Yes.
the whole
So I mean, and to have had the opportunity to have funded that lawsuit initially, and be involved in changing the laws was, maybe it's the ego speaking a little bit, but it was really exciting to have had that opportunity to have changed.
Sure.
Because after Uruguay, we were the first country, I believe, to go federally legal, and
I
it set
believe
the
so.
stage for different states on the ability to grow 4 plants, 6 plants, because everybody in Canada can grow 4 plants. It hasn't been some major windfall, but you can go buy some seeds, grow 4 plants, get a hold of a nursery. They'll send you out some plants, whatever it is. You can get your plants. You can grow your own medicine. It's very, very easy. And people say cannabis can be addictive. I would completely disagree.
Growing aspect is addictive. That's it.
Because growing cannabis is addictive.
That's
Exactly.
Yeah. So
not the smoke in the cannabis. Like I've often said, like it's if I went to the doctor tomorrow and they said you can no longer smoke cannabis anymore, I will probably grow for the rest of my life. It's the gardening, it's the growing is the therapy. That's the fun part for me. As much as I like smoking it, I love the growing part of it. That's the
me
best
too.
part for me. So yeah,
Hilarious, right?
absolutely. Yeah,
And that's
it's
something we all share in common.
Yeah.
Right? It's our own little secret on the excitement of growing.
Yeah.
We
As a kid,
share
I
that.
never, like I hear a lot of stories about, like my grandma taught me how to grow, or I worked with my grandpa on the farm or stuff like that. Like I helped my mom with some stuff in the garden and stuff like that as a kid, but it wasn't like super fun for me. It's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And when I think back, I'm like, man, I wish I spent more time in the garden. I wish I learned more about soil and plants and stuff like that with my mom or my grandma
Yeah.
or something like that. Like just because, like I'm so into it now. Like I love growing other
Totally.
things other
My
than
mom's a
just
huge grower.
cannabis.
We grew up with a really serious garden.
Yeah.
At a monster rose garden. She was very, and the funny thing about growing cannabis is it's more relevant today than ever, because if you can grow cannabis well, you can grow any plant well. And if there was a time in history where being self-sustainable and being able to actually think about growing your own food, because
Now.
it's now. You're about to spend 25% more money on your food if it's coming
Right.
from the south.
Yeah.
So
you might as well grow it.
there's never been a better time than right now.
Yeah. And I don't know about you. I mean, I do know because I'm pretty sure you've grown a lot of fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. I'm almost positive you said last time you have other gardens going on at your house.
Yeah,
But you bite into a homegrown tomato compared to the one that you buy at the grocery store, it's so much better. So much better,
absolutely.
Nice.
Super thick
So
skins. I mean, the fact that, let's just say, the fact that it didn't go in a truck and get shipped, and
bounced
and
around and
and the elements within it, the everything about it is degrading the moment it's picked,
Yep.
and
yep.
you're so to
And I think
access.
they put chemicals and waxes on stuff to help preserve it and make it last longer, and like that
Sure.
can't be good for us either.
No.
They say all this healthy food is good for us, but now we hear about all these health
Appeal,
problems and stuff, and people are saying, like all I eat is fruits and vegetables and clean. I have a clean diet, but this food is making me sick, and
but
it's
do
because
you?
of all the
But
pesticides and stuff
yeah,
that they
yeah,
put in it. So,
yeah.
so
Which is
yeah,
honestly, I mean, I regularly say this. If you're selling Roundup, glyphosate, or any serious poisons, um, it honestly, we know better, and
yeah,
and these things are banned in Europe, and everybody's like, why is the wheat? Why can I eat wheat in Europe? Because corporations are dictating what we put in our face, but we're the ones voting with our dollars doing it.
yeah. We're the ones still paying for it,
We're
right?
the ones still paying for it. You're still buying McDonald's.
Yes.
Like, do you? What the fuck? Do we not know better? How is a company like McDonald's or Coca-Cola in business?
Yeah,
You
it's all
know,
chemical. It's all chemicals.
fucking
Bad
poison.
stuff for you. So,
You know, but most
yeah,
people are eating this shit.
yeah,
So listen, we live in a time where it's instant gratification. I want it now. Well,
yeah.
what I like about growing is you got to wait a minute.
Have to wait. It
You got to be
definitely
patient.
teaches patience.
But the
Yes.
payoff, the payoff's down the road, and it's gonna taste so
Yep.
much better. And oh, by the way, you're gonna be
Yep.
healthier for it. Like I,
Yep.
I harvested about 400 pounds of garlic last year. Like
Nice.
we have a lot of
Nice.
garlic, and I like garlic. I like onions. I like going into the garden. We've harvested animals in the past, and there is nothing more nutritious than grass fed. Like animals, like all of them are just being fed shit. I know I'm going on tangents, listen to left, right, and center,
Oh,
but
that's okay.
animals,
That's all right.
like chickens, don't eat grain. They eat worms in nature. They eat grubs, right? So
Yeah, they're birds, right?
yeah, but grains that are covered in glyphosate, like fucking, you know, cows, same thing. They're being forward fed massive amounts of corn to fatten them
Yeah.
up. Cows have
That's more
always
money
eaten
for the
grass.
farmers, right?
Yeah, cows have eaten grass. Put them in the field, do a regenerative garden, and create better soil. Like if I really enjoyed the movie The Littlest Farm. Anyways, I sound like I'm bouncing all over the place because of
That's all
my
right.
ADD.
That's the glory of these shows, because I mean, like we come in with somewhat of a direction, and then we kind of just go where the
Yeah.
conversation takes us. Because I mean,
Just
I think
Exactly.
that's where you get some of the best conversation, the best information is
yeah,
where when you just let the conversation go where it goes.
totally.
So definitely.
We can do better. Is all I'm
So
trying to say. As
abs-
humanity.
absolutely, yep.
Sure.
And I've noticed a lot of people, like on Friday nights we do the Show Your Grow show. So we have people that come on and show their gardens and stuff like
Yeah,
that. And we get people that come on and they want to show their vegetable gardens, they want to show their cover crops, they want to show all these different plants that they're growing. They have not like they got cannabis too, but they're so happy to show some of their other stuff too, which I think is so cool.
Yeah.
Like
awesome.
growing's not just about cannabis. We love cannabis, but we
Yeah,
also like eating too, and we also, just growing in general is fun. And
I like being
if,
healthy.
yeah, and if we can grow our own food, we're all growing cannabis to be healthier and because it's more cost effective and stuff like that. Why not do that with our food too. You know, it's
Absolutely.
healthier, it's more cost effective, it's a lot more rewarding, it's a lot of fun. You know, you can get the whole family involved,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's a great bonding experience, great teaching moment for kids and all of it. So we need it.
Yeah.
We got to take it back to
100%.
way back in the day when they were actually living off the land and, you know, doing their own thing. So no, I agree with all of that.
Super.
So
So
um
what's new for you guys? You guys coming to the show in Toronto?
maybe I just moved, so I'm like I don't have all the funds this year, so we'll have to see. Is it in May again?
I don't. Sarah, what?
Yeah, end of May.
End of May.
End of May. I think that's when it was last year too, if I remember. Maybe it was either at the beginning or the end of May. I can't remember, but yeah.
End of May.
And you guys at the Grow Up conference was absolutely insane.
It was
Absolutely
fun.
insane. You guys had a marching band.
Yeah.
You guys had roller derby girls.
Derby girls. Yeah.
I
Pillow
mean, you guys
fights.
did pillow fights. You had people walking all over the place wearing these jerseys. So everywhere you went,
Oh,
you saw Green Planet everywhere, through the building, outside, everywhere.
Listen, if you can't
Oh,
leave an impression, then these trade shows cost a lot of money. And how do you stand out in a crowd?
yeah.
Right? How do you
You
differentiate
got
yourself from the company? And
you guys
you
definitely
guys
stood
did
it.
it.
well, we tried. We tried. The marching band was fun.
It
I didn't
was.
realize it would be so
Obnoxious.
obnoxious. We pissed off a few panels of speakers as a marching band covered in Green Planet. It was hilarious, actually, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
good. I liked it. I thought it was great. I think most of the people there thought it was great too. You know,
We're
like
still,
the
we're
looks
still,
on
we're still,
people's faces when the marching band came through.
yeah, we're still
Yeah.
talking about it, so it had an effect, anyways. So that's great.
Oh yeah, for sure. So you
No, it
get
was
to
good.
travel with growing exposed to a lot of amazing places and meet a lot of interesting people. I seen one of your episodes with nuns, which was pretty interesting.
Right now,
What would you say would be like one of your most memorable visits
for the show,
for the show? Yeah.
the nuns were really cool. Every grow we go into, um, we, there was only one that I was like, I didn't jive that well with the person, and it was early on. Um, but every grow we go into, we all share a similar plight. We all share a
Always
similar
something
passion. We all
memorable.
share a similar
Yeah.
passion. And I don't know if there's any one that really, really stands out. I mean, Coots Canada was really fun. We met the night before, and I said our relationship will forever be different after we do a show, because like it or not, we're going to go deep. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We have a ton of similarities because we're in the same space together. But every time we do a show, I can get on the phone or I'll bump into someone at a trade show, and it'll be like we have that connection. It's really quite profound. The going through the whole episode of highlighting who they are and what gets them off and what brought them to cannabis. And it usually is like, I've only had one time where the guy was like, money, money. I wanted to make money. And it's an honest answer, but it's usually my grandma got sick, or I was a caregiver, or I was doing this and I was like, wow, I really enjoy cultivation and it changed my life for the positive. And I'm doing it on a monster scale. So, um, Colorado, we talked about starting with One Light, the grower in Colorado. I can't remember his name right now, but honestly, there is not one. It's like saying, who's your favorite child?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I have a lot of really fond memories with a lot of people, and I never thought I'd be running around the world talking about cannabis. In the early days of
Crazy
BC
like
Farm, it was really, really hush hush, and we
Oh my
were
goodness, yes.
right. We were trained to shut our fucking mouths, and have a lot of, and now with legalization jumping out of the shadows and being like, hey, I grow weed and I like it and it's fun and you should too.
Yeah.
You know, it's
We
My
can talk
next
about it.
question
Yeah.
was it hard for you to go from being told it was bad to like talking about it? Like I have a hard time, even though I talk about it here, I still have a hard time talking about it out in the public.
well, I've interestingly enough, I have a seriously, I don't give a fuck what you think mentality. I know what works for me. I know what works for my body, and I listen. I'm not. I still I use cannabis in moderation. I'm not always high. I like having monster tolerance breaks and picking and choosing when I consume. I like to go into it with um, that's just me. But I also deal with arthritis, sciatica, and there is nothing like a cyclobenzaprine muscle relaxant doesn't even hold a candle to an edible for me, right? And I know I'm using something that's the original plant medicine, and it works really well for me. So I can't tell you what's going to work well for you or judge you for what you do in life. I don't give a fuck. But sure as shit, don't judge me. And quite frankly, you'll get a pretty for those that are like, oh, it makes people lazy and stupid, da da da. You have bought into the fact that cannabis, and you really get into it. It's because of racism,
Mhm.
money, more importantly, now big pharma. Why this plant is still demonized, and I cannot believe how many fucking sheep there are in this world that have not done the homework on why cannabis is looked at. You know, it kills brain cells. That was the monkeys being asphyxiated due to lack of oxygen, right?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with killing brain cells. Quite frankly, my father had a stroke and we saw monstrous benefits from it having the ability to repair the brain. My firsthand experience, seeing how effective it was for that specifically. Pain, inflammation, well-being, Parkinson's,
Seizures.
PTSD, seizures, Mulgraves. If there is a massive amount, you know, Sanjay Gupta went on CNN and said, "Hey, we've been duped, we've been lied to. Cannabis has medicinal benefits and actually can change people's lives for the positive. Not for everyone, but sure as shit. If I have cancer, guess what I'm going to start doing? I watched the movie Dose 2. I'm all I do is try to absorb as much information there is on how I can better my life. And I find that this plant is the thing that does it for me.
Absolutely. Yep.
And that to me is miraculous. And the fact that corporations and pharma can't, well, they've tried to synthesize cannabis and failed miserably with Sativex. But this is a natural plant, and you should really consider it if you have ailments. I don't recommend it at all for children. I don't recommend it for anyone under the age of, honestly, 22. Your brain is not fully developed until 21, 22.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's definitely ways to go about it for sure. And if you do it the proper way, then you know it is beneficial in the end.
yeah,
You said something. I was going to say something. I can't remember now what I was going to say, but yeah, no, I agree with all that. Like I've started making RSO and stuff like that.
sure.
Just taking it in capsules. You know, I'm not a big fan of the taste, but I take that once in a while in capsules, and then I take a little break because you kind of get used to it after a while, and you got to go for that like hero dose after a while. But
Yeah,
yeah, I find it helps with so many things. It helps with sleep. It helps with appetite. It helps with
absolutely.
pain. Um, I have crazy ADD, and I mean, it definitely helps with that. It helps me kind of keep me more mellow and down to earth instead of like way up here and all over the place. It keeps me, down here in
Yeah.
level. So,
But in a civilized society, I would look at you and go, "Oh, is that working for you?
yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
You're your own person. You're a tax-paying grown adult who can make decisions for themselves. You
Exactly.
know,
Yep.
why
Exactly.
the fuck is this plant illegal?
Well, like you were saying, it comes down to the money, right? Because
It comes
there's
down
it's
to
so good for so many things that a big pharma can't now go, hey, you need this medication for cancer, and it's $30,000, and you need this medication for your seizures, and it's $15,000, and
yeah,
you need, they can't do that anymore because now we can just go get cannabis from the store and use that, and now they're not getting their money anymore.
yeah. Well, it comes full circle, right? Taking control of your life, what you shove in your face, what you put in your body. This is no different. This is you taking care of your own health, and if this works for you, fantastic. If it
Yeah,
doesn't, and you had a bad experience and you took too much, that doesn't mean the plant's fucked. That means you
right,
were you were too greedy and had 4 brownies.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
there's so many different strains out there. There's so many different versions of how you can
Of course.
consume it. There's topicals, there's edibles, there's dabs, there's weed, there's hash, there's, like it goes on and on and on and on. So
Yeah,
I mean, there's pretty much something out there for everybody
sure.
nowadays. They've really opened the market with so many different things. So like my mom who was super against cannabis,
Yeah.
I ended up making some MCT oil, like THC MCT oil, and now she uses that to go to sleep at night. Where forever, my whole life, weed's bad. It's so bad for you. Uh, you're gonna
But
go
that's
crazy
that's the
and kill a bunch
story.
of people. Back to the reefer madness type
Yeah.
shit. Like that was what was gonna happen in her mind.
But that's the
And
story that she was given, right? It's a
exactly,
gateway
yep,
drug. If I start doing cannabis, I'm going to be doing heroin in no time. And
exactly.
excitingly enough,
I'm gonna start murdering my family and
how
all this stupid
fucking
Yeah,
shit.
how stupid, genuinely, how ridiculous in this
yeah,
era with information and the internet. How ridiculous are you to still hold on to those ideals,
yeah,
right? Go do
yeah,
some
Oh,
homework,
100%.
read a book, figure it out,
exactly.
watch a video.
Yeah,
Dosed 2 is a really good movie about a lady that had severe cancer.
okay. I'll have to check that
Dosed
out.
2. It's a good
Ghosts too?
watch. It was
Okay.
about psilocybin and cannabis together, and she is cancer free, and it changed her life. And she was given like weeks to live, and it's all about her journey. Great movie. I recommend it. But it takes these significant events in life for someone to go, I'm dying. What can I try?
Right.
And the amount of cannabis that
Yep.
I've grown and given away to people in that exact situation, from high school friends to you name it. If someone has cancer, it's the first thing I recommend because it really helps with appetite. It really helps with pain. And when you're taking chemo drugs, it's a godsend for specifically that. So I can't give advice because I'm not a doctor, but I can tell you this. I've seen firsthand this change people's lives for the positive a lot, which is
100%. I
why,
believe it also has cancer killing. It's got something in one of the cannabinoids. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know
yeah,
everything about it, but I think RSO specifically, when you're doing like a full spectrum
yeah.
cannabis oil, or a full extract cannabis oil type thing, it has cancer killing properties within that as well.
There
So
were
it's killing
studies.
cancer
There
cells.
were studies done years ago that THC kills cancer cells. I don't want
Yeah.
to get into like if it's factual or this, that, and the other. But I,
Right.
I
Yeah. No, we
really
don't have to
I
do
like
that.
what you said, and I agree with it. Is
Yeah.
whole plant, all the cannabinoids, they work synergistically.
Yeah.
Um, What I don't like RSO because it's a petroleum byproduct using isopropanol, which is a byproduct of petroleum. I would rather do RSO using ethanol, which is plant based.
Right. Yeah.
So
I use
it's
Everclear, which is like a grain alcohol, which
yeah,
is
yeah,
a
that's
whole lot
exactly
better
what,
than ISO for sure.
absolutely. That's what you want to use.
So yeah. Yeah. I use the highest content of alcohol that I can possibly get, which
Yeah.
is the
Everclear.
Everclear. So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So
So yeah.
amazing.
So we were
So
watching. I was also watching another one of your episodes, and you were in Thailand. What was that? What was that like? Like the whole
Thailand was
cannabis.
crazy, right? It's the gateway to
Yeah.
Asia. It was fun. And we have to go shoot Australia. We're going to be doing Australia next.
nice.
You were in
Australia
Hawaii too, not too long ago as
was
well.
in Hawaii at the Cannabis Expo in Hawaii, which was fun. I mean, Hawaii's always a good time. But yeah, Thailand was a really exciting car crash at the beginning of legalization. There was just
Yeah.
you'd walk down. They had 10 dispensaries on a street, and they were all doing $500 to $1,000 a day or whatever it was. I mean, it's a windfall for Thailand, except for the Thai don't really consume a lot of cannabis. It's all expats,
Right.
and there's so many people jumping into a space that they don't necessarily understand yet. So I think Thailand now is probably getting into second gear, and they're figuring a lot out. But it was really, when I went, it was really interesting to see. And Thailand, like Hawaii, interesting enough, they're on 12-12 light hours. So all you're having to do is use sun, and you're automatically in flower.
Okay.
Thailand was really fun, and I know they've jumped through a few things with legalization, changing laws this way, that way, but
Yeah.
it's interesting to see how so many people can all of a sudden jump into an industry and see it implode so quickly. I was watching while I was there. Prices on pounds were dropping $100 a day. It was ridiculous. Like there was, it was just set up to fail because there was so much competition. And
Yeah.
in Canada, for example, it's also been a very difficult. A lot. I feel really badly because a lot of people have invested their life savings into the legal market, but the government's still every day printing licenses, taking that tax money and printing licenses when there's already enough supply on the market.
Oh
Right?
yeah, you can't go anywhere here without seeing dispensaries. Like they're everywhere.
Oh
They're
God,
everywhere.
We
they're
used
on
to have
every
we used to have a lot of Tim Hortons. Now it's dispensaries. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look, you can see one in every direction. It's crazy.
Everybody's trying to ride the green rush, and it's really, I don't understand why you wouldn't meet demand with supply, right? Eggs, for example, they have marketing boards, and they make sure that they don't make so many eggs that there's such a surplus that it just drives the price into the toilet, and and the farmer doesn't make money, nobody makes money. And in this market, in Canada specifically, not everyone's thriving.
Yeah.
And that's tough, and it's tough to see. And like any farmer, if you have a bad crop, you're one crop away from failure. So it's and there's some people that are
Scary.
thriving. There's some people that are thriving because they've made it their life for the last 20 years, 30 years, whatever. They know what they're doing, and they're skilled in it, and that it's exciting to be part of those gardens too. But it just goes to show you, like, just because there's excitement in an industry doesn't mean that that's the place to invest your money. We saw it happen with mushrooms, same thing. It literally did this and that, and it's in the toilet, and it's that industry's never recovered. Cannabis has somewhat recovered a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's not
I feel
easy.
like I feel like a lot more people use cannabis though, because like for me, like psilocybin isn't something that I can use and then go and spend my day at Walmart or Home Depot or go out and do my
Absolutely.
normal everyday thing.
Absolutely.
You could do like a microdose for sure, but
Yeah.
cannabis
But
I
Yeah.
could smoke a joint and I can go function and do my thing where I couldn't possibly eat a couple grams of mushrooms and go function and go about the rest of my day.
what are you talking about? Of course you can. You just won't function well. You won't. You
Right.
don't be. You won't be accepted so well in society. People might look at you a little funny.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah.
but you are 100% right. The amount of cannabis needed. You don't see people, shoving massive amounts of mushrooms in their face all the time. Cannabis, there are people that function, and I'm not judging them. They're high from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed, and
Yep.
they function. There's some people I know that function extremely well like that.
Yeah.
You would never even know they're high. You know,
Exactly. It's funny because when they're not smoking, that's when you're like, something's
who the,
off about you.
who the fuck's that guy? Yeah, who's this? Yeah, that's funny.
That's funny. Um, do you want to talk a little bit about your involvement with 6-1 Charlie?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. We had Glenn on the show
Oh, you did?
about a month ago, and
Yeah, about a
he's
month
one of
ago.
the nicest,
He's so
coolest,
cool.
down to earth people I think we've spoke to. He's just such a cool dude. So
Yeah, he's a
I would love
sweetheart.
to hear your side of the 6-1 Charlie.
I got involved in 6-1 Charlie just for the money. That's it. That was just nothing but paychecks. No,
That's right.
I got involved in 6-1
Mm.
Charlie because Glenn, his personality is infectious. When you meet him, you can't not want to be involved in his energy. We did an episode, Coots Canna, with Glenn on 6-1 Charlie.
Yep.
And 6-1 Charlie is strictly a medical brand for medical patients and specifically PTSD and veterans. And he reached out to me years ago. It's at the very beginning of there's a text that comes up at the very beginning of the Growing Exposed episode. And that's literally how exact word for word how he texted me and or DM'd me, whatever. And we hit it off immediately and had talked dozens of times saying how one day we're gonna do something together. And he came from Homes on Homes. He was he was in construction. And he is a fucking really kind, nice human being.
Yeah,
And
he
the
is.
whole
Yes.
purpose behind 6-1 Charlie is to give them the absolute best that the industry has to offer because they're veterans. They put their lives on the line for our safety, our security, our country, call it whatever you want. And they should not be forgotten and dismissed or given bottom of the barrel cannabis, regardless of if the government's paying for it or not. They should be getting
Right.
the best that the industry has to offer, and that's what 6-1 Charlie is. We literally are finding the best cultivators, the best products, not cutting corners, paying top dollar to bring the best products to market, period. That's it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Profitability is a discussion not even on the table.
Yep.
So,
Well, and that's what he said too. He said like it's not even about money for me. It's just about
absolutely.
providing a great product for these veterans that fought for our freedom, everything that you just said, like he basically said all the same things, and he said that Green Planet is a huge help. You guys are like they're using all the Green Planet nutrients. I think they just started using them on was it their last run or the run before that or something like that.
He's growing
And
with it,
they're
yeah.
using yeah. And like their facility looks great. It's the Mendo, right? Is what
Mendo's the one that's selling it and bringing it to market currently. They're a great company. They really have been very easy and fun to work with.
Yeah.
So Mendo is the platform for 61 Charlie, and we're really happy to, you know, the one of the owners of Mendo brought and helped and has done nothing but work his ass off to help bring the brand to market. So it's been a real strong team effort for all parties. Yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm really I'm really
Yeah.
honored and happy to be part of it because it's done as a way of giving back, and this industry has done everything, and I owe this industry everything. It's taking me all over the world. It's put food on my table for decades, and I'm very, very grateful. So anytime I can do something to pay tribute to the plant and pay it back or pay it forward to others, that's what matters most.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Well said, sir. Well said. Well,
Yes.
we're basically at the hour now. Do you wanna that was a great way to end the show too, by the way, with
It was.
some words of wisdom right there.
All week I've been reciting that line. I'm joking.
You've been standing in front of the mirror with a hairbrush, just
Absolutely.
saying
Yeah,
it over and over.
practicing.
I knew it. I knew it. Do you want to let everybody know where they can find you? Websites, different
So
places where they can buy Green Planet nutrients.
yeah, you can buy Green Planet nutrients at any of local hydroponic store. Please support them. They are an integral part of this industry. So know that when you're buying a Green Planet product at the store, you're supporting people that have been in your corner. The hydroponic stores, like buying online, sure, but buying at the hydroponic store, supporting those people at the stores is really important in my opinion. And
Yes, because
uh,
then you won't have any like here, and then you will have a hard time finding
exactly,
shit that you shouldn't have, and it sucks.
they are the ones that have the information. They are the ones that are going to steer you in the right direction. They're, you know, when you have a problem, you can go to them and ask. Go into the internet, you're going to find 1,000 different things, right? And you're going to find some shitty information, and you're going to have potentially some problems. Growing Exposed was done with try the product. People have great success with it, but it's also out there so that we can tell people and give good information on things that I don't know everything at all, but
Right. None
I
of us
know.
do. None
Yeah,
of us do. And when we do, then that's it for us.
yeah. And I mean, I'm doing
So
these lives now on our channel for Growing Exposed and Green Planet, where we're bringing experts and manufacturers in to talk about their products. And every single live I do, I learn something, and that to me is really, really important. I want to still continue to learn and just evolve and be better at this art. And so to jump in, Grow Green Planet is my Instagram, greenplanetnutrients.com, greenplanetwholesale.com. But to where to buy the product, please go support your local hydroponic store because they need you more now than ever, and they are an integral part of this industry. So
absolutely.
I think that's it. Growing Exposed. Please enjoy, watch, like, share, whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
It's our life's passion, our work, our everything. So
We're great episodes too. Like you must have a hell of a film crew
I have
because
I have
like
my I have my buddy
it
since
is
grade 6,
really
Jeremy. Listen,
Awesome.
we run and gun. Honestly, there's not some big. Jeremy's one of my dearest, oldest friends.
amazing.
We've known each other since grade 6, and I owe him nothing but love and respect for the amount of effort. He is so committed to the show. He's the driving force behind it. He is the creator, the director. He's got the editors. He's got sound, light. He does everything. Like he's
Yeah.
the most efficient. You would like the level and caliber of cinematography and effort that goes into it, different angles. It's crazy, and
It's
you know,
amazing. Like the work that like you can see the effort that you guys put into it. Like
Oh my
it's
goodness, yes.
just it's so well done. It's like watching a documentary on Netflix or something. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it's
yeah,
very well professionally done. So for
yeah,
anybody here that doesn't know Growing Exposed, go over and check them out on YouTube, and you won't be disappointed at all.
amazing.
So
Thank you. Thanks for that plug. But honestly, it's just a life's passion, and
yeah,
we really enjoy doing it, and we really want to be the voice of a community, and no different than what you guys are doing. You guys are highlighting brands, highlighting people in the space. It's fucking awesome. What
yeah,
you guys like, just genuinely, what a cool opportunity
yeah.
to engage with others on things we both love. So that's
Exactly.
awesome,
We get to meet some of the coolest people doing this.
right?
It's a totally different experience when you get to meet them in person for sure. Like, when we got to meet you, we had spoke to you before, and then we met in person, which was a whole totally different experience. But now I feel like sitting here in front of you, like we're not acquaintances anymore. We're, more friends. We have a
Yeah,
more, like you said, the rapport now. It's a better conversation. It's cool. So it's beautiful being able to do this and meet people and just, like you said, talk about what we all love. And like nobody in my life outside of this wants to hear about my plants anymore. They don't care. They
yeah.
just want to see the end product and see what it looks like rolled up in a joint. That's it. That's all they care about. So I get to sit here and talk to cool people, like-minded people, and talk about our passions. So
Amazing.
that's why we do this. It's a lot of fun. And like you said, we learn
It
something
is.
every episode, whether it's on a Wednesday night or a Friday night. Doesn't matter if it's just one of the gromies in the community or if it's somebody from the industry like yourself.
Yeah,
No matter what, I learn something from everybody that I talk to. So
amazing. See, buddy, keep up the good work. And Mr. Ganix, I appreciate you guys. I look forward to hopefully seeing both of you in Toronto. And
absolutely, yeah. I would love to go again. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So,
amazing.
but yes, thank you very much for coming on, and we'll definitely have to get you on again in the future for sure.
Thank you, Kat. Thanks for making the
Yes,
time, guys.
next time we'll have to get
Absolutely.
you on to show your garden a bit more.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
I could just kind of, you guys want to see plants? This is it. And
Nice.
we're always testing new products too, right? Like these are the Fabins under canopy. We've got inner canopy from Think Grow over here. Grow Glide 5 foot tables by 20 feet long. Single lights. These are all one light hangers. I Quest humidifiers and just trying to do cool shit with cool shit.
Nice. I
Anyhow,
love it. Beautiful, man. Well, thank you very much for coming on, and like I said, we'll have to get you back again because I know you're one of those people that has so many stories, so much cool shit to talk about. So I feel like we never
So
really get to like
knowledgeable.
get past scratching the surface with you. So
an
we'll
hour
we'll get
goes
to,
by like
yeah,
that, eh? When you're when
it
you're
really
Yes.
does.
it's shocking to me
Yeah.
Well, it's
that an
funny because I
hour.
said to Bunny, I said, you know what the hard part about Wednesday night is going to be with Justin? She said, what's that? I said, taking everything that he has in his head and putting it into an hour. That's the hard part because I said
Yeah,
we could probably go for 6 hours with him, but we got to
or
take
getting
that six
or
hours and
getting a
condense it
word
down to an hour.
or getting a word in
Yeah.
edgewise. 'Cause all I do is talk. It seems like.
That's all right. No,
Yeah,
guests like you are the best because it makes our job way easier.
yeah,
You guys can just tell your story and we just listen.
yeah.
So absolutely, man. But thank you very much. And yeah, thanks for making the time to come on.
Yes.
You're
Thank you.
you're most welcome, guys. Happy growing.
You too, man. Have a good weekend or a
Have a
good
great
week,
Okay.
night.
rest of your week.
Cheers. Bye
Yes.
now.
Later, man.
Cheers. What a great episode. That was so much
It
fun.
was. Yeah, he's always a
Yes.
lot of fun to talk to. So much information,
Oh
so
my
much
goodness.
knowledge.
Yes.
Such a great human being, like just a good person all around.
Yes.
So,
So
yes.
next week we have optical foliar coming on, Jess.
Op-
So that's going to
optic
be,
foliar,
yeah. What did I say? Optical?
optical. Going to
My
get our
bad.
eyes checked.
Maybe. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're definitely gonna want to stay tuned for that. And again, a big thank you to Justin for taking the time to come on and speak to us tonight. And don't forget on Fridays it's Show Your Garden. So come and show your garden.
Come and hang out. Tell all your friends. Tell all your friends. Anybody that you know that has a garden, tell them to come on down. It's like the price is right down here, except for there's no prizes. You don't win money.
Yeah.
All right,
Mhm.
guys. Happy Wednesday and till Friday. Peace out.
Have a good night.